So in the previous video, I read the introductory note to the essay, and I briefly talked about what an academic article is. And I talked about the uh, context and content and source of this essay. Now, in this video, I will read the opening paragraph of Lisa Davies' essay, Where Do We Stand? And I will analyze the text. I will read the paragraph closely. This is a close reading practice. In close reading, we read very carefully, slowly, and we pay attention to each and every word in each and every sentence. So let's read first. As we read any writing in English, let me tell you something. A piece of writing, a piece of reading has two things. Or let's say a paragraph has two things, I'll say. A paragraph has two things. One, it has an idea. Two, it has some details. I repeat, idea and details are the two pillars on which any written paragraph stands. Second thing to keep in mind is that a writer writes something in a paragraph, he says something in a paragraph, and at the same time, he does something in the paragraph. Often it is easier to understand what the writer is saying in the paragraph, but it is not always easy to understand what a writer is doing in the paragraph. When I say what the writer is doing in the paragraph, I mean the function of the writing. So a piece of writing has a content, the idea, what the paragraph says. And a piece of writing has function, what the writer is trying to achieve by saying that. So keeping this, let's read the paragraph. Call it the dance of the jet set, the diplomat's tango. A man from the Middle East, say, falls into the conversation with an American, becomes animated, takes a step forward. The American makes a slight postural adjustment, shifts his feet, edges backward. A little more talk, and the Arab advances. A little more talk, and the American retreats. By the end of the cocktail party, says Middle East expert Peter Bechtold of the State Department's Foreign Service Institute, you have an American in each corner of the room because that is as far as they can back up. Now let's ask the question, what does this paragraph say? So this paragraph says that there is a cocktail party. This cocktail party has been most probably organized by the Foreign Service Institute of the United States Department. And in this cocktail party, there are participants from different countries and cultures, like there is somebody from the Middle East, there is someone from America, and in this cocktail party, the Middle East fellow joins a conversation with the American fellow. The Middle Eastern person is quite excited and he moves forward toward the American, whereas the American makes postural adjustment. He shifts his feet and moves backward to make distance between himself and the Middle Eastern. Then the Arab moves little further, American moves little backward, and by the end of the party, it says that you will see that there is an American in each corner of the room. This is what the paragraph says. Now let's ask a second question. What does this paragraph do? Now, this paragraph sets a scene. The paragraph sets a scene. It presents a scene. There is a hall. There are people having a party, cocktail party. Probably this is a party of the diplomats. There are people from different cultures. They are dancing, enjoying, talking. There is a Middle Eastern fellow who joins a conversation with an American. And then the Middle Eastern fellow tries to come very close to American. The American does not like the Middle Eastern fellow coming too close to him, so he moves backward. And the American feels a bit awkward, right? So the paragraph sets a scene. Now ask a question. What is the writer trying to achieve by setting a scene? The writer is providing a context for the problem of the essay. What is the problem that this essay discusses? The problem that this essay discusses is that this essay discusses the problem which arises when two people from two different cultures are not aware about each other's assumptions about the use of public space while having a conversation in public. And as a result, a misunderstanding arises between the two people and they end up having bitter experience of the meeting. This is the problem which this essay discusses. And before the writer presents the problem clearly, the writer is creating the context for the problem. The writer is creating a scene and showing how the problem arises. Another thing, do you see this opening paragraph presents a drama. This opening paragraph presents a drama. It presents action. It presents a stage. There is a hall having cocktail party. There are actors, the Middle Eastern fellow, the American fellow, and other members in the party. And there is an action. One fellow comes very close to another fellow. The another fellow does not like the first fellow coming too close to him. So the second fellow moves backward. First fellow moves forward. And the first fellow keeps moving forward. The second fellow keeps moving backward until he reaches in the corner. So the paragraph presents a dramatic scene with a very live action. Another thing, pay attention that this paragraph is written in present simple tense. See here, a man from the Middle East falls into conversation, takes a step forward, The American makes a slight postural adjustment, edges backward. The Arab advances. The American retreats. So do you see all the verbs in the paragraph are in present simple tense. Why? Because this paragraph is drawing a picture, drawing a scene, which is which occurs often in many places. In a sense, this scene presents a truth which is found not only in one place and at one time, but in many places at many times. So let me conclude. This opening paragraph sets the stage for the essay, sets the scene, sets the context for the essay, and right in the opening paragraph, issue the tension. Let me tell you more. You see, in this opening paragraph, the paragraph opens in a very normal way. There is a party, diplomats party, they are dancing. There is a diplomat, probably from the Middle East. This diplomat falls in conversation with an American representative. He moves forward, wants to come closer to talk to the person. Normal, right? Up to here, normal. Now, tension starts when you see that the American makes a slight postural adjustment. Why would the American walk back when the Middle Eastern fellow walks forward? This is the crucial point in the essay. Up to here, the situation is normal. The moment when the American moves backward, conflict starts in the story, in the drama. I repeat, pay attention to what I'm saying. The paragraph presents a scene where the action begins in a very normal way. Two people are having conversation in a hall, they are enjoying, they are drinking in a cocktail party. Normal beginning. And in this normal beginning, tension begins, conflict begins when the American moves backward. The Middle Eastern fellow expects American to stay very close to him and have a conversation. But the American fellow does not feel comfortable when the Middle Eastern fellow comes too close to him. This is the point where conflict in the story starts. And this conflict, which you see in the first paragraph, leads to crisis towards second, third, fourth paragraph. And this crisis results from the misunderstanding regarding how to occupy a public space while having a conversation with a person from another culture. The Middle Eastern fellow does not understand that American people do not like to stay too close to another person while having a conversation in public space. The American guy does not understand that Arabian people, like the Middle Eastern diplomat, they like to stay very close when they talk to another person. So do you see, the American and the Middle Eastern, both of them are unaware about each other's assumptions about the use of public space while having conversation. And this unawareness about their assumptions about the use of public space is what creates the tension and conflict in this drama. And another thing, if you see the last sentence, Lisa Davis cites to Peter Bechtold and she quotes what Peter Bechtold says. Look what Peter Bechtold said: by the end of the cocktail party, and this sentence is in quotation marks, You have an American in each corner of the room because that is as far as they can back up. So what do you see here? This is a characteristic of academic writing, that writers in academic writing, they say something and then they bring the evidence or proof from other sources to back up what they are saying. So Lisa Davis, in this opening paragraph, is showing the misunderstanding between the Middle Eastern and the American, and pointing out that people from two cultures may often have misunderstanding due to their failure to understand how they use space in public spaces. And to support her idea, Lisa Davis brings a quotation from Peter Bechtold. And remember, Peter Bechtold is not a simple person. Who is Peter Bechtold? Peter Bechtold is an expert on the topic of Middle East. Peter Bechtold is an expert about the Saudi Arabian culture. So what Peter Bechtold says is very authentic here. Now, what I did, I did a very close reading and I analyzed the paragraph. I'll read the next paragraph in the next video. Your job is you carefully note down what you understood after watching my video about this opening paragraph. I said the opening paragraph says something. Then I said the opening paragraph does something. And I said the opening paragraph sets the scene for the drama. The opening paragraph introduces the tension in the drama. The opening paragraph introduces the conflict in the drama. The opening paragraph sets the context for the problem. Right now we can see the problem. The Middle Eastern fellow is coming closer. The American fellow is making a postural adjustment by edging backward. And now we have a question. Something is going to happen here. A problem is emerging in this scene. Now, in the next video, I will read and analyze second paragraph. Now, a simple question. Take your pen and a copy and answer this question. Analyze your understanding of the opening paragraph of Lisa Davis' essay, Where Do We Stand? What is the function of this paragraph? What does this paragraph do? Now answer this question in detail. Now in the next video, I'll read paragraph 2 and analyze paragraph 2.